Zach, you won't believe what I saw yesterday. I was catching up with my old coworker, Sarah. She and her husband are both making over 100K each in Austin. Combined, they're pulling in more than 200K a year. But when I asked how things are going, she just laughed and said, "Maya, we're still living paycheck to paycheck." I thought she was joking. She wasn't.
That's the crazy part about America in 2026. Six figures doesn't feel like six figures anymore. Hey everyone, welcome to Conversation Point. I'm Zach.
And I'm Maya. Today, we're talking about something a lot of people are quietly struggling with, living paycheck to paycheck on 100K, and why it's becoming the new normal in America.
Yeah, we're going to break down the real reasons this is happening. Housing costs, lifestyle creep, taxes, inflation, and the pressure to keep up in this culture. No judgment, just honest talk.
So let me ask you this first, Zach. If someone is making 100K a year in 2026, should they realistically be comfortable, or is the system actually broken?
Honestly, in a lot of big cities, 100K barely gets you middle class anymore. Take San Francisco, New York, LA, even Seattle and Boston. Rent for a decent one-bedroom apartment is $2,800 to $3,800 a month. That's almost half your take-home pay before you even think about groceries, car, insurance, or student loans.
Exactly. I have a friend in Denver making 108K as a software engineer. After taxes, health insurance, and 401K contribution, he takes home around $6,200 a month. His rent is $2,450. Then comes the car payment, gas, food, and the random $800 unexpected expenses that pop up every month. By the time the next paycheck hits, he's almost at zero again.
That's wild, right? We grew up thinking if you make six figures, you've made it. But in 2026 America, that number is getting crushed by the cost of living.
So if you're watching this and you make 80K, 100K, or even 150K and still feel broke at the end of the month, you're not crazy and you're definitely not alone.
Practically, let's talk real numbers. The average rent in major metro areas has jumped 28% since 2022. Groceries are up almost 25%. Gas, insurance, childcare, everything costs more. At the same time, wages haven't kept up with the actual cost of living, especially once you factor in taxes.
And then there's the lifestyle creep. You finally get a raise, so you upgrade your apartment, lease a nicer car, start eating out more, subscribe to every streaming service, go on better vacations. Suddenly, your expenses rise to match your new income. It's the classic trap.
Maya, are you calling me out right now? I just upgraded my truck.
I'm calling all of us out. I did the same thing. Got a small raise last year and immediately started ordering takeout 3 times a week instead of cooking. It adds up fast.
But it's not just personal choices. The American system itself makes it hard to get ahead. High taxes in many states, extremely expensive healthcare, even with insurance, and insane college debt for many people. A lot of 100K earners are still paying off $40,000 to $60,000 in student loans.
I know a couple in Chicago, both lawyers making around 115K each. They have 2 kids in daycare that cost them $3,200 a month. After mortgage, cars, and everything else, they say they save almost nothing. They're successful on paper, but feel stuck.
If you're living in a high-cost city, this conversation's going to hit different. But even in more affordable places like Texas, Florida, or the Midwest, lifestyle expectations and inflation are eating away at that six-figure salary.
So what do you think is the biggest reason this is happening, Zach? Is it just inflation and housing, or is there something deeper in our culture?
It's a mix. Inflation and housing are the biggest killers right now. But our culture plays a huge role, too. Social media makes everyone look like they're living their best life. We feel pressure to keep up, nicer cars, better vacations, the perfect home setup. No one wants to admit they're struggling when they make good money.
Exactly. There's this weird shame around it. Like if you make 100K plus, you're not allowed to complain. But the math doesn't lie. A lot of people are quietly stressed every month.
We want to hear from you. Are you making six figures but still living paycheck to paycheck? What city are you in? And what's the biggest expense killing your budget? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one.
In this episode, we're going to talk about why this is happening, real stories from different parts of America, and later we'll share some practical ways people are actually getting ahead even in this economy.
Stick with us. This one's going to be honest and hopefully helpful.
Zach, it's not just big coastal cities anymore. Even in places people think are affordable, the struggle is real. I was talking to my cousin in Phoenix last week. She and her husband, together, make $195,000 a year. They have a nice house, 2 cars, and 2 kids. On paper, they look successful, but she told me they have less than $2,000 saved and live month to month.
That's the scary part. The middle class is getting squeezed from both sides. Let's talk about where the money actually disappears every month.
First and biggest killer is housing. Whether you rent or own, it's brutal. In Austin, Denver, Nashville, Raleigh, cities that used to be more reasonable, a decent 3-bedroom house now starts at $450K to $650K. Mortgages are eating up 35 to 45% of take-home pay for many 100K earners.
Then you add property taxes, homeowners insurance, which has gone crazy in many states, and maintenance. A lot of people are house poor. They bought the house because the bank approved them, but now they're struggling to enjoy it.
Exactly. And don't even get me started on childcare. If you have kids, that's another $2,000 to $3,500 a month easily in most cities. One friend in Atlanta told me daycare for 2 kids costs more than her mortgage. She and her husband both work full-time just to break even.
Healthcare is another silent killer. Even with good insurance, deductibles, co-pays, and prescriptions add up fast. One unexpected medical bill can wipe out whatever little buffer you had. I know people making $110,000 who still use GoFundMe when something serious happens.
Transportation, too. Gas prices, car insurance, car payments. A lot of 100K earners are driving cars they can barely afford just to look professional for work. It's all part of keeping up appearances.
You saying my truck payment is a bad decision, Maya?
I'm saying a lot of us made that same decision. We earn more, so we spend more. That's called lifestyle inflation, and it's destroying 6-figure budgets across America.
There's also this cultural pressure in the U.S. We're taught that success means bigger house, nicer car, perfect vacations on Instagram, private schools for kids, organic everything. No one wants to be the person driving a 10-year-old car when their friends are posting new Teslas.
It's exhausting. Social media makes it worse. You see your college friend in Seattle posting about their $800,000 home renovation while you're quietly stressing about your $1,200 grocery bill. The comparison game is brutal.
If you're making $90,000 to $150,000 and still feel like you're barely getting by, this is why. It's not just you being bad with money. The system and the culture are both working against you.
Let's talk about taxes for a second. In high-tax states like California, New York, New Jersey, someone making $120,000 can lose 35 to 40% between federal and state taxes. That's a massive chunk that disappears before you even see it.
And inflation hasn't slowed down on the things that matter most: food, rent, insurance, education. Your salary goes up 4%, but your actual expenses go up 8 to 10%. Over a few years, that gap becomes huge.
I have a friend in Chicago making $132,000 as a project manager. She's single, no kids. She should be doing great, right? But after rent, student loans, taxes, and trying to save for retirement, she says she has maybe $400 left at the end of most months. She feels stuck.
So what's the solution? Should people just move to cheaper cities, cut their lifestyle dramatically, or is the whole system in need of fixing?
It's a mix. Some people are moving to more affordable states like Texas, Florida, Tennessee. Others are learning to be extremely intentional with their money. But a lot of people are just quietly burning out trying to keep up.
We want real talk from you guys. Be honest in the comments. What's your household income right now, and how are you actually doing financially? What's the biggest expense that's killing your budget? What city are you in? We read every comment.
Later in this episode, we'll talk about practical ways people are actually breaking this cycle, even on six-figure incomes. Some are moving, some are changing careers, some are going against the culture and living below their means.
Stick with us. This conversation is just getting started, and it's going to get even more honest.
Zach, another thing that blows my mind is how mental and emotional this whole thing is. It's not just math. People making good money still feel constant anxiety about money. I know a marketing manager in Boston making $118K. She has a nice apartment, travels once a year, but she told me she checks her bank account multiple times a day because she's scared something will go wrong.
That constant low-level stress is exhausting. We call it paycheck to paycheck anxiety. Even when the numbers look okay on paper, people don't feel secure. One emergency, one job loss, or one medical issue, and everything can fall apart.
And let's talk about the hidden costs that nobody posts about on social media. Student loans are still crushing people. So many 100K earners are still paying off 50K to 80K in debt from college. Then you add car loans, credit card debt from keeping up, and subscriptions that quietly add up to hundreds every month.
Yeah, that $15 Netflix, $12 Spotify, $25 gym, $40 meal delivery, $10 cloud storage. It all feels small until you add it up and realize you're spending $400 to $500 a month on stuff you barely use.
I recently spoke to a teacher in North Carolina. She and her husband are both educators, making around $105K combined. They live in a medium-cost area, but their property taxes and HOA fees went up so much last year that they're now considering selling their house. She said, "We followed all the rules. Good jobs, bought a house, saved for retirement, and we still feel like we're drowning."
This is what people don't understand. It's not always about bad financial decisions. The cost of living in America has outpaced wage growth for years, especially in the things that matter most: shelter, healthcare, education, and transportation.
And then there's the cultural ideology. In America, we're taught that working hard and earning more should automatically lead to financial comfort. But that promise is breaking down for a lot of the professional class. You do everything right and still feel like you're running on a treadmill.
You're getting deep again, Maya.
Because it is deep. We've built a culture where your worth is tied to what you own and how your life looks online. So even when people make 100K plus, they stretch themselves thin trying to maintain the image of success.
To the audience, if you're sitting there making six figures and feeling guilty because you think you should be doing better, let me tell you, you're not alone. Thousands of professionals across America are having the same silent struggle.
One thing I've noticed is how location plays a massive role. Someone making 100K in Houston or Nashville can actually live pretty well, but the same salary in San Francisco or New York often feels like middle class at best. The geographic arbitrage is real in 2026.
A lot of smart people are starting to move. They're leaving high-cost states and moving to places with no state income tax, like Texas, Florida, or Tennessee. Some are even going remote and living in much cheaper areas while keeping their high-paying job.
Curious, do you think that's the main solution, moving? Or can people fix this while staying in expensive cities?
Both are possible, but it requires being very intentional. In expensive cities, you have to be almost extreme with your budget, living with roommates longer, driving older cars, cooking at home, saying no to a lot of social pressure. It's hard because it goes against the culture.
To the audience, we want to hear your real situation. What city are you in? What's your household income? And most importantly, how are you actually feeling about your finances? Be honest in the comments. No judgment here.
This episode is just the beginning. Later, we'll talk about the mindset shifts, practical strategies, and stories of people who are actually breaking out of this paycheck to paycheck cycle, even on six-figure incomes.
Yeah, because the good news is it is possible to get ahead, but it often requires going against what everyone around you is doing.
Stick around. We're going to get a lot more honest in the next parts.
Zach, one thing we haven't talked about enough is how this whole paycheck to paycheck on six-figures situation is quietly changing how people think about success in America.
Yeah, it's messing with people's heads. You grow up believing that hitting 100K means you've arrived, but when you finally get there and you're still stressed about money, it creates this weird identity crisis. Like, did I do something wrong, or is the game rigged?
I think it's a bit of both. Let me tell you about this guy I know in Seattle. He's a senior product manager making $142K. On paper, he's killing it. But after taxes, rent in a decent neighborhood, and trying to save for a house, he says he feels like he's running just to stay in place. He literally told me, "I make good money, but I don't feel rich at all."
That phrase is everywhere right now. I make good money, but I don't feel rich. It's become the anthem for a whole generation of professionals.
Exactly. And a big reason is something we call stealth inflation. Not the official numbers you see on the news, but the real cost of the life we're expected to live. Everything from organic groceries to keeping your kids in competitive sports to maintaining a certain image at work. It all costs way more than it used to.
Don't forget the biggest stealth expense, keeping up with everyone else. Social media has turned normal life into a competition. You see your friends posting about European vacations, new kitchen remodels, and private school tuition. Even if you can technically afford it, it stretches you thin.
I have a friend in Charlotte, North Carolina. She and her husband make $215,000 combined. They recently bought a beautiful house in a good school district, but now they're stressed about HOA fees, lawn care, and trying to keep up with their neighbors who all seem to have newer cars and fancier vacations. She admitted they're saving almost nothing for retirement or emergencies.
This is the trap. You upgrade your life as your income grows, but you never actually build wealth. Americans have been sold this idea that success looks like constant consumption. Buy nicer things, experience more, show it off, but nobody talks about the quiet stress that comes with it.
I almost think we're all stuck in this unspoken competition that no one is winning. Everyone's pretending they're doing great while quietly worrying about the next credit card bill.
And let's be honest about something else. A lot of 100K plus earners have expensive habits they don't even realize. Daily $7 coffees, eating out 4 times a week, subscription boxes, gym memberships they barely use, impulse Amazon purchases. It doesn't feel like a lot until you track it for a month.
Zach, are you confessing right now?
Maybe a little. I deleted my Amazon app last month after I realized I was spending $180 a month on random stuff I didn't need. Small changes like that actually add up.
If you're making good money but feel broke, try this simple experiment. Track every single dollar for 30 days. Most people are shocked when they see where your money is actually going.
Practically, another big factor is debt psychology. Even people making 6 figures often carry car loans, student loans, and credit card balances. In America, we've normalized being in debt. It's almost seen as weird if you don't have payments on something.
I know a couple in Austin making $168,000 together. They have nice cars, a beautiful home, and take 2 vacations a year. But they also have $92,000 in combined debt between student loans and credit cards. They look successful to everyone around them, but they're one job loss away from real trouble.
This is why we're having this conversation, because a lot of you watching are doing everything right by society standards and still feel like you're failing financially. You're not failing. The rules changed.
The good news is, we're going to talk about real ways people are breaking the cycle later in the episode. Some are making big moves, some are making small but powerful changes. Both can work.
Stick with us. This one's going to get even more interesting.
Zach, another layer that makes this whole situation even tougher is how it's affecting relationships and families. I know couples who fight more about money now than they ever did when they were earning less.
Absolutely. When both people are making good money but still feel broke, it creates tension. One person wants to save aggressively, the other wants to enjoy the life they worked hard for. That clash is super common right now.
My friend in Denver told me she and her husband make 112K and 98K respectively. They argue constantly about spending. She wants to take their kids to Disney World. He wants to put every extra dollar into savings because he's scared of the future. They're not poor by any means, but the stress is damaging their marriage.
This is the hidden cost nobody talks about. Financial stress on six-figure incomes is quietly affecting mental health, relationships, and even how people parent. A lot of 100K plus parents feel guilty because they can't give their kids the same experiences their friends are posting about.
And then there's the guilt of, I should be doing better. You see people your age buying homes or traveling the world, and you start questioning your own choices, even though the math doesn't add up in today's economy.
Social media is straight up toxic for this. Everyone is posting their highlight reel. You don't see the $3,200 mortgage, the $900 car payment, and the $1,800 monthly grocery bill. You just see the new patio furniture and the vacation photos.
You sound like you've been personally attacked by Instagram, Zach.
Maybe I have. But seriously, comparison is one of the biggest reasons people feel poor, even when they're not. We've lost perspective on what a good life actually looks like.
Let's talk about something else that's unique to 2026 America, the sandwich generation pressure. A lot of people in their 30s and 40s making good money are supporting both their kids and helping their aging parents. That extra financial load is crushing.
Yeah, elder care costs are insane. Whether it's helping with medical bills, nursing home expenses, or just regular support, many six-figure earners are stretched thin from both directions.
Another big issue is how expensive it has become to look professional. In many industries, especially tech, finance, and sales, there's an unspoken expectation to dress well, drive a decent car, live in a good neighborhood, and send your kids to good schools. All of that costs serious money.
Exactly. You can't show up to client meetings in a 12-year-old Civic anymore in some fields. The image matters, and that image is expensive to maintain.
To the audience, so for those of you watching who make 90K to 150K and feel like you're failing, understand this. You're not bad with money. You're living in an economy where the cost of a normal, successful life has skyrocketed, while real purchasing power has not kept up.
But here's the thing. Some people in the exact same income bracket are doing well. What's the difference? Usually, it comes down to location, lifestyle choices, and how intentional they are with their money. Some people move to lower-cost areas. Some aggressively paid off debt. Some simply refuse to play the comparison game.
Curious, so you think it's still possible to build real wealth on 100K to 150K in 2026?
Yes, but it requires going against the culture, living below your means, saying no to a lot of social pressure, and being very disciplined. Most people aren't willing to do that because it feels like you're missing out.
We're going to talk more about those people who are actually winning financially on six-figure incomes later in this episode. Their strategies might surprise you.
Stick with us. This conversation is far from over, and we still have a lot of honest ground to cover.
Zach, one thing that really stands out to me is how this financial pressure is quietly reshaping people's life choices. I know multiple couples in their early 30s who are delaying having kids because they don't think they can afford it, even on combined incomes of 180K plus.
That's heavy. The dream of the American family is getting more expensive. Childcare, healthcare, housing, education, it all adds up so fast that a lot of professionals are making the tough decision to have fewer kids or have them much later.
I spoke to a woman in Raleigh last month. She and her husband are both engineers making 125K each. They want kids, but they're waiting because daycare alone would be $2,800 a month for one child. She told me, "We make good money, but we don't feel like we can give a child the life we want without struggling."
This is the new reality. Previous generations could raise a family comfortably on one solid income. Now, even two high incomes often feel stretched. It's changing the entire demographic landscape of the country.
And it's not just kids. A lot of people are delaying marriage, too. They want to feel financially stable first, but that stability keeps moving further away. So you have highly educated professionals in their late 20s and 30s still single or living with roommates, even though they make solid money.
Remember when people used to say, I want to be a millionaire by 30? Now a lot of people are just hoping to feel financially secure by 40.
You hitting close to home again?
Maybe. But seriously, this creates a weird kind of quiet resentment. People feel like they did everything right, went to college, got good jobs, worked hard, but the rewards they expected aren't showing up.
I have a friend in Portland making $105K as a UX designer. She's single, no kids, lives alone. On paper, she should be thriving. But after rent, student loans, health insurance, and trying to build some savings, she says she feels like she's barely above broke. She calls it fancy broke.
Fancy broke. That term is perfect. You look successful from the outside. Nice clothes, good job title, maybe a nice phone and laptop. But inside, you're one bad month away from stress.
To the audience, if any of this sounds familiar, whether you make $85K or $150K, know that you're not imagining things. The cost of maintaining a middle-class lifestyle in America has exploded, while real wages haven't kept pace.
There's also a cultural shift happening. More and more people in this income bracket are starting to reject the old hustle narrative. They're choosing to live with roommates longer, buying used cars, cooking at home, and being very open about it. It's like a quiet rebellion against lifestyle inflation.
Curious, do you think that's the future? More people choosing peace over appearance?
I hope so. Some of the happiest six-figure earners I know are the ones who stopped caring what their friends think. They drive 8-year-old cars, live in smaller homes in good areas, and put their money into investments and experiences instead of showing off.
The truth is, in 2026 America, being rich isn't about how much you make anymore. It's about how much you keep and how much freedom you have. A person making $80K in a low-cost area with no debt can actually have more freedom than someone making $140K in a big city with high expenses.
To the audience, we want to know your reality. Are you living paycheck to paycheck despite making six figures? What's one thing you've changed recently to get better control of your money? Or what's the one expense you refuse to cut because it brings you joy? Be honest in the comments.
Later in this episode, we're going to talk to people who have actually broken this cycle. Some moved cities, some completely changed careers, some stayed right where they are but made radical changes to their spending. Their stories are pretty inspiring.
This conversation is far from over. We still have a lot more real talk coming.
Zack, we've talked about how expensive everything has become and how even six-figure salaries feel stretched thin. But here's what I find most interesting. Some people in the exact same income bracket are actually doing really well. So what's the difference?
That's the million-dollar question. It's not always about making more money. A lot of it comes down to choices, location, and mindset. Some people have figured out how to win in this broken system, while others keep playing the old game.
Give me an example. I want to hear a story of someone who's actually breaking the cycle.
I know a guy in Nashville named Tyler. He's 34, makes $118K as a sales manager. 2 years ago, he was living the typical six-figure struggle. Nice apartment, new truck, eating out all the time. Then he made a radical decision. He moved to a smaller place 25 minutes outside the city, bought a used truck with cash, and started cooking most of his meals. Within 18 months, he paid off all his debt and now has over $90K saved. He still makes the same salary, but his lifestyle is completely different.
That's powerful. He basically gave up the look successful game and chose actual freedom instead.
Exactly. And he's not miserable. He says he feels richer now than when he was spending more. He travels twice a year, has money in investments, and sleeps better at night. The craziest part? His friends still think he's doing okay because he doesn't show off anymore.
That's the trap, right? In American culture, if you're not visibly spending money, people assume you're failing. But Tyler flipped the script.
I've seen this in other cities too. A woman in Raleigh making 107K as a nurse practitioner moved from a fancy downtown apartment to a quieter suburb. She cut her rent by $1,100 a month. That one move alone changed her entire financial life. She's now maxing out her retirement accounts and building real wealth.
So, location arbitrage is one big strategy. But what about people who can't or don't want to move?
Then you have to get extremely intentional where you are. Some people are doing stealth wealth. They make good money, but live like they make 30K less. They drive older cars, shop at Costco, vacation domestically instead of internationally, and avoid lifestyle creep like the plague.
I know a couple in Austin making 168K combined. They look completely normal from the outside, nothing flashy, but they paid off their house in 9 years and now invest almost $4,000 a month. Their secret? They refuse to upgrade their lifestyle every time they got raises. They still drive the same cars they had 5 years ago.
Sounds boring to a lot of people.
Maybe, but they're going to retire at 55 while their flashy friends will be working until 67. I'll take boring if it means peace of mind.
This is the part a lot of people don't want to hear. Getting ahead on 6 figures in 2026 often means going against the American consumer culture. It means being okay with looking average while building something real behind the scenes.
But it's not all sacrifice. Some people are increasing their income dramatically instead. They're negotiating raises, switching jobs every 2 to 3 years, starting side businesses, or learning high-income skills like copywriting, sales, or specialized tech roles.
One guy I know in Chicago went from 98K to 167K in 2 years by switching companies twice and negotiating hard. He didn't change his lifestyle at all. That extra money is all going into investments. He's the quietest rich person I know.
To the audience. So here's the truth. Living paycheck to paycheck on 100K plus is common, but it's not inevitable. Some people are choosing different paths, moving, downsizing, increasing income, or rejecting lifestyle inflation. All of these can work.
What do you think is the biggest mindset shift people need to make?
Stop tying your self-worth to how successful you look. Real success in 2026 America is having options, peace of mind, and the ability to sleep without worrying about money. That might mean driving a 7-year-old car so you can build real wealth.
We want to hear from you. Have you ever made a big financial decision that went against what your friends or family expected? Did it work out? What's one change you're thinking about making after hearing this? Drop it in the comments.
We still have more ground to cover. Later, we'll talk about specific strategies that are actually working for people right now.
Stick with us. This conversation is getting good.
Zach, what surprises me the most is how many high earners are starting to question the whole work hard, earn more, live better promise that we grew up with.
It's a quiet awakening happening across the country. People are realizing that just climbing the corporate ladder doesn't automatically give you financial peace anymore. The ladder itself is getting more expensive to stand on.
I was talking to a 36-year-old woman in Minneapolis last week. She makes 129K as a financial analyst. She recently told her friends she's taking a 20% pay cut to move to a hybrid role with better work-life balance. Everyone thought she was crazy. But she said the peace she feels now is worth way more than the extra money that was just disappearing anyway.
That's a bold move. A lot of people talk about it, but very few actually do it. She's choosing peace over status.
Exactly. And that's becoming a trend among burnt-out 6-figure earners, choosing quality of life over more money that they wouldn't even feel. Some are moving to smaller cities, others are going part-time, some are starting small businesses that give them more control.
I know a guy in Phoenix who left his 135K corporate job to become a financial coach. He now makes around 95K, but works 25 hours a week, has no commute, and actually enjoys his life. He says for the first time he doesn't feel like he's drowning, even though his income dropped.
It sounds counterintuitive, but sometimes earning a little less while spending a lot less gives you more freedom than earning more and spending even more.
This brings up something deeper about American ideology. We've been sold this idea that happiness comes from more money, more stuff, more experiences, more status. But a growing number of people in this income range are realizing that more often just means more stress and more bills.
It's almost like we're hitting a cultural wall. The old American dream was built on the idea of hard work plus higher income equals security and happiness. But in 2026, that equation is broken for a lot of the professional class. Hard work still matters, but it doesn't guarantee the life it used to.
You're getting philosophical on me again, Maya.
Because this is philosophical. We were told if we went to college, got good jobs, and worked hard, we'd be comfortable. Many of us did all of that and still feel like we're barely keeping our heads above water.
So, what are the people who are winning doing differently? From what I've seen, they focus on three things: controlling their biggest expenses, especially housing and cars, avoiding lifestyle creep like it's poison, and aggressively increasing their income through skills or side income instead of just waiting for raises.
Some are doing geo-arbitrage, keeping their high-paying remote job but living in a much cheaper part of the country. One couple I know moved from Los Angeles to Boise, Idaho. Same income, but their monthly expenses dropped by almost $3,000. That changed everything for them.
To the audience, if you're feeling stuck, ask yourself this question honestly. Am I living where my salary actually has power, or am I living where my salary gets swallowed up?
Another big one is refusing the upgrade trap. I know a software engineer in Austin making $148K. He still drives his 2017 Honda Civic and lives in a modest two-bedroom apartment. Meanwhile, his colleagues with similar salaries are stressed with luxury cars and big houses. He's quietly built a net worth of over $400K while they're still living month to month.
He's the guy everyone calls cheap behind his back, but he'll be the one laughing when he hits financial independence early.
To you all, warmly, we're not saying you should live like a monk. We're saying there's a middle path, enjoying your money while not letting it control you. Some experiences and comforts are worth it, but many things we chase are just expensive distractions.
Curious, what do you think is the biggest mindset shift people need right now?
Stop measuring success by how much you spend or how impressive your life looks. Start measuring it by how much peace and options you have. A person making $90K with no debt and good savings can actually be richer than someone making $150K who's stressed every month.
To the audience, drop your thoughts below. Have you ever chosen peace over more money, or are you still stuck in the upgrade cycle? What's one change you're considering after hearing these stories?
We still have more to cover, including specific tactics that are working for people right now.
Keep listening. This episode gets even more practical.
Zack, the more I talk to people about this, the more I realize it's not just about money, it's about identity. A lot of us tied our self-worth to our income and lifestyle for so long that when the math stopped working, it hit harder than just the bank account.
That's a really good point. In American culture, we've made financial success part of our personality. So when you're making good money but still stressed, it feels like a personal failure instead of a systemic one.
I spoke to a 39-year-old marketing director in Atlanta last month. She makes $124K and her husband makes $91K. They have the perfect life on Instagram. Nice house, 2 kids in private school, annual trips. But she admitted to me in private that they have $18K in credit card debt and haven't taken a real vacation without worrying about money in 4 years. She said, "We look rich, but we feel poor."
That looks rich, feels poor reality is extremely common right now. It's almost like we created a new social class, the visually successful but financially fragile.
Exactly. And the scary part is how normalized it's become. People joke about being broke millionaires or high-income poor, but behind the jokes, there's real anxiety and burnout.
Let's talk about something most people don't want to admit, the role of ego and social signaling. In many professional circles, especially in tech, finance, and big cities, there's pressure to signal success through visible consumption. The right neighborhood, the right schools, the right car, the right vacations, all of it costs a fortune.
I know a couple in Boston, both lawyers pulling in $260K combined. They live in a beautiful brownstone, send their kids to elite private schools, and vacation in Europe every summer. On paper, they're winning, but they have almost no savings, high stress, and they're both working 60-plus hour weeks just to maintain that image.
they're exhausted.
Sounds glamorous until you hear the real story.
Right? Meanwhile, I know another couple in the same income bracket in Raleigh who live very intentionally. Modest house, public schools, domestic vacations. They're debt-free, have strong investments, and actually enjoy their weekends. They look less successful to outsiders, but have way more freedom.
This is the choice more people are facing in 2026. Do you want to look successful or actually be successful? Because in today's economy, those two things often require very different decisions.
The winners I've seen are the ones who quietly opt out of the status game. They choose financial independence over social approval. They're willing to drive a 6-year-old car so they can max out their retirement accounts. They're willing to live in a smaller house so they can build real wealth.
Some are even embracing what I call stealth wealth. They make good money, but you'd never know it. No flashy watches, no luxury cars, no constant vacations posted online. They just live well within their means and invest the difference.
Curious, do you think this mindset shift is growing?
I do. Especially after the last few years of inflation and economic uncertainty, more professionals are waking up and realizing that keeping up with the Joneses is a losing game. The new flex is freedom, not needing to work until 67, being able to take time off without stress, and having options.
To the audience, if you're making 6 figures but feel stuck, I want you to know this. You're not behind. You're not bad with money. You're navigating a difficult economic reality with outdated cultural rules. The good news is you can rewrite those rules for yourself.
In the next parts of this episode, we're going to get very specific about the strategies that are actually working for people, from small daily changes to big life moves.
But before we move on, tell us in the comments, have you ever felt pressure to spend money just to keep up appearances? What's one thing you've changed or want to change about how you handle your money?
Your stories help all of us. Keep them coming. We read every comment.
All right, let's keep going. There's still a lot more to unpack. Zack, we've spent a lot of time talking about why even 100K plus feels tight for so many people. Now, let's shift to the hopeful part, how people are actually breaking free from this cycle in 2026.
Yes, because the good news is it is possible. I've talked to dozens of people making 6 figures who are no longer living paycheck to paycheck. Their stories are different, but they all made intentional decisions that went against the default American path.
Tell me about someone who made a big move and it actually worked.
There's this couple in Denver, both software engineers, combined income around $235K. 2 years ago, they were drowning despite the high salary. Then they did something radical. They sold their big house in the expensive suburb, paid off all debt, and moved to a smaller city in Tennessee. Same remote jobs, but their monthly expenses dropped by almost $4,200. Now they have over $180K in investments and are actually enjoying their life.
That's a massive win. They chose freedom over status and it paid off big time.
Exactly. Not everyone can move, but the ones who can are seeing huge results. The cost of living difference between coastal cities and good mid-sized cities is still massive in 2026.
For people who can't or don't want to move, there are still powerful strategies. The first one is what I call stealth mode budgeting. You keep earning 6 figures, but live like you make 70K to 80K. The gap goes straight into savings and investments.
One guy I know in Austin makes $138K. He drives a 2018 Toyota, lives in a nice but modest apartment, cooks most meals, and travels smart instead of luxury. He's 37 and already has over $420K saved. His friends who make similar money think he's cheap, but he'll be able to retire early while they'll still be working.
That's the irony. Society calls the financially smart person cheap and the financially stressed person successful.
Another big strategy that's working right now is aggressive income optimization. A lot of 6-figure earners are no longer loyal to one company. They job hop strategically every 2 to 3 years, negotiate hard, and build multiple income streams.
I know a woman in Chicago making $127K as a project manager. She started a small consulting side business in her niche. It brings in an extra $45K to $60K per year with only 8 to 10 hours a week. She didn't change her lifestyle much, but that extra money is all going toward investments. She's on track to hit $1 million net worth in her early 40s.
Okay, now you're making the rest of us feel lazy, Maya.
Not lazy, just programmed differently. We were taught to get one good job and stay there. The new playbook is different.
Another powerful move people are making is debt destruction, especially student loans and car loans. Some six-figure earners are throwing every extra dollar at debt for 18 to 24 months until they're completely debt-free. The psychological freedom after that is massive.
If you're listening and feeling overwhelmed, start with one thing. Don't try to fix everything at once. Pick your biggest expense, usually housing or cars, and see if you can reduce it meaningfully. Even one big win can change your entire financial picture.
We're also seeing more people embrace what's called quiet luxury or stealth wealth. They have money, but they don't advertise it. No logo-heavy clothes, no flashy cars, no constant vacation posts. They just live comfortably and build wealth quietly.
It's almost like a rebellion against the old American ideology that success must be visible. The new successful person in 2026 is the one who has options, peace of mind, and control over their time.
So tell us, what's one change you're thinking about making after hearing these stories? Are you considering moving, cutting big expenses, starting a side hustle, or negotiating a raise? Be honest in the comments. Your stories help everyone.
We still have more practical strategies and mindset shifts coming in the rest of this episode.
Stick with us. This is where it gets really useful.
Zach, I love that we're moving into the solutions part because so many people listening are probably feeling both seen and a little overwhelmed right now.
Yeah, it's easy to feel discouraged when you realize how deep this issue goes. But the truth is, a lot of six-figure earners are quietly winning. They're just not loud about it.
Let's talk about one strategy that's working really well in 2026, the 2-year reset. A lot of people are giving themselves 24 months to completely change their financial situation while keeping their income the same.
I know a couple in Tampa making $192K combined. They decided to do a full reset. For 2 years, they lived like they made $110K. They cut eating out, sold one of their cars, moved to a slightly smaller place, and put every extra dollar toward debt and investments. After 22 months, they became completely debt-free with over $140K in savings. Now, they feel free for the first time in their adult lives.
That's the kind of story I wish more people heard. It's not glamorous, but it works.
It's not sexy on Instagram, but it's sexy in your bank account.
Exactly. Another powerful strategy I'm seeing more of is income stacking. Instead of relying on one big salary, people are building multiple streams even while keeping their main job.
There's a woman in Phoenix making $113K as a teacher. She started tutoring online in the evenings and created a small digital product teaching study skills to parents. That extra $38K to $45K a year completely changed her trajectory. She paid off her student loans and bought her first home last year.
It doesn't have to be huge. Even an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month from a side hustle can make a massive difference when you're consistent with it.
But here's something important. The real game changer for most people isn't just making more money or cutting expenses. It's changing their relationship with money and status.
A lot of us were raised with the idea that our value is connected to how successful we appear, so we spend to prove we're doing well. The people who break the cycle are the ones who quietly decide their peace and freedom are more important than looking successful.
I know a guy in Charlotte making $107K. 2 years ago, he was stressed every month. Then he made a rule. He would never buy anything over $300 without waiting 30 days. That one simple rule cut his impulse spending by more than $9,000 a year. He didn't feel deprived. He felt in control for the first time.
Small rules like that can be incredibly powerful. Another one that works well is the pay yourself first method on steroids. As soon as your paycheck hits, automatically move 25 to 35% into savings and investments before you even see it. Treat it like a non-negotiable bill.
A lot of people making 100K plus are also starting to negotiate their biggest expenses. They're refinancing mortgages, shopping around for insurance every year, bundling services, and being willing to ask for discounts. Those small wins add up fast.
Curious, what about people who feel completely stuck right now? What would you tell them?
Start with awareness. Track your spending honestly for 30 days. Then pick one big expense and one small habit to change. Don't try to fix everything at once. Progress beats perfection.
And remember, you're not behind. The economy changed faster than most of us expected. Being kind to yourself while making better choices is important.
To the audience, we want to hear your plans. What's one thing you're going to try after listening to this? Moving, cutting a big expense, starting a side income, or just tracking your spending? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one, and it helps the whole community.
Friendly. We still have more to cover before we wrap up this episode, including the mindset that separates people who stay stuck from those who eventually break free.
Optimistic. Stick with us. The best part is still coming.
Zack, we've covered a lot today, from the shock of making good money but still feeling broke, to the cultural pressures, the hidden expenses, and the stories of people who are quietly breaking free. As we wrap this up, what's the biggest takeaway you want people to remember?
That you're not failing. The game changed, and a lot of us are still playing by the old rules. Making 100K or even 150K in 2026 doesn't mean you've made it automatically. But it also doesn't mean you're stuck forever. You have more power than you think.
I agree. The most important shift isn't just about cutting expenses or making more money. It's about changing how we define success. For too long, success in America meant looking successful. The new definition should be having real freedom, the ability to make choices without money stress controlling your life.
So here's what actually works based on the people who've done it. First, get brutally honest about your biggest expenses, usually housing, cars, and lifestyle creep. Second, protect your peace by refusing to compare yourself with people who are quietly drowning in debt. Third, build multiple income streams or increase your value so your salary grows faster than your expenses.
And most importantly, give yourself permission to live differently. It's okay to drive an older car. It's okay to live in a smaller house. It's okay to say no to expensive vacations or private school if it means you'll actually have security and peace.
I'll leave you with one last story. There's a woman in Salt Lake City making 109K as a nurse practitioner. 2 years ago, she was living paycheck to paycheck. She made 3 big decisions. She moved to a more affordable neighborhood, paid off her car, and started a small side business teaching online health classes. Today, she has over $170,000 saved, works part-time, and says she finally feels free. She looks less successful to her old friends, but she's actually winning.
That's the quiet revolution happening right now. More and more professionals are choosing real wealth over visible wealth. They're opting out of the status game and into a life that actually feels good.
So if you're watching this and you make 6 figures but feel stressed every month, know this: you are not alone and you are not broken. The system is hard, the culture is loud, but you can rewrite the rules for your own life.
Start small, but start today. Track your spending for 30 days, have an honest conversation with your partner, look at your biggest expense, and ask if there's a smarter way. One good decision leads to another.
And be kind to yourself in the process. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress and peace. Some months will be better than others. The goal is direction, not speed.
We want to hear from you. Honestly, are you living paycheck to paycheck on a 6-figure income? What's one thing you're going to try after watching this episode? Are you thinking about moving, cutting expenses, increasing income, or changing your mindset? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one, and this community is stronger when we're honest with each other.
Gratitude is so important. If this conversation helped you feel seen or gave you even one useful idea, please hit the like button. It really helps us reach more people who need to hear this.
And if you want more real, no BS conversations about money, career, and life in modern America, subscribe and turn on notifications. We drop new episodes regularly.
Maya, as always, talking with you is eye-opening. Even when we don't agree on everything, I learn something.
Same here, Zach. Thank you for keeping it real.
All right, everyone, take care of yourselves. Make one smart move this week. You've got this. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys. Talk soon.